This program is brought to you by Chicken House, Porsche Store, Ting Ting's Native Food, Ubalaba Ilonggo Wear, Maxer Store, dealer of quality Taala eggs, located in front of Kmart Burgos Market, and Jong Tapsilogan and Sizzlers.
The COVID pandemic has shown two things in the Philippines. One, our most basic need is still food. And number two, the most resilient industry among all industries in the Philippines was agriculture. But little attention is being given to the fact that we need to redistribute land and increase our agricultural production. Recently, a lawyer from Negros Occidental, a resident of Bacolod City, brought public attention once again through his proposal to have a state-managed farming scheme. And we have him today, Attorney Jesus J.V. Hinlo. Attorney, welcome to DNX Conversations.
Thank you for the invitation, Julius. I'm happy to be here in your show.
Thank you so much. First of all, ang pamangkot, let's do this in both Hiligaynon and English. Kamusta ng status ng imong proposal?
Well, this proposal, nga ginatawag naton state-managed farming, is supported by a volunteer group, no? A non-partisan group which we call the Philippine Development Movement. It is comprised of government officials as well as representative from the different sectors in society. Right now, this measure is being supported by Rizal District Congressman Jack Govt, as well as Magsasaka Party List Congressman Argel Cabatbat. It has already been filed as House Bill 7477. Right now, our group, and including myself, we have tried through social media and even in billboards to bring forth the idea of state-managed farming as a solution sa problema naton sa kapigaduhon, kag sa food security, kag sa kataas ang presyo sang aton mga pagkaon. No? So we really believe that state-managed farming will be able to solve the poverty problem in the rural areas, the unemployment problem, as well as our problem in food security.
And before we go deeper into that proposal of yours, ang first question would be, I think, is how did you come up with this concept?
Well, presently, I'm a director of the Land Bank of the Philippines. At the same time, I was a former undersecretary of the DILG. So my experience in government, as well as my being a conscientious private citizen, during my stint here, in Negros as a lawyer, opened me to the fact that the main problem of poverty here in our country is unemployment. Pag ang tao wala ubra, ma-standby, mangayo bulig sa gobyerno, mangayo ayuda, o ginatawag naton dole-outs, mareklamo kung wala makaon, basi makasala pa kay mahimo krimen, kag magrebelde pa kung gutom na. So, I have thought of a way, sabi ko, with that situation, and if government continues to do it traditionally, nga support, panghatag sang 4-piece, panghatag sang fertilizer, panghatag duta, panghatag sang, let's say, low-interest loans, it will still not solve the problem because temporary lang na solusyon. Tagaan mo duta ang tao, kung may magmasakit sa iya pamilya, anong unahon niya gastusan? Ang hospital nga pabulong sa iya pamilya o ang pagpadlagan sang iya nga gamay nga negosyo nga pagpananom. So pag magka-emergency ang isa ka small farmer, unahon niya gid na ang basic necessity, pagkaon kag bulong. Malason pa siya kung mabagyuhan, no? O kung kung magmasakit, kung alaga siya sapat, magmasakit ang mga sapat niya, kag magkalamatay. So, ano paminsar ko, the biggest institution and company in our country does not come from the private sector, but it is government itself. Kung ang bilyones ang gobyerno, himuon niya isa ka programa nga siya maging employer. Siya magpaubra sa mga kadutaan, nga mga dalagko, nga ideal, or when you say ideal, yung wala ginausar. At the same time, siya mag-offer sa mga gagmay nga planter, sabi hambalon sang gobyerno nga kung gusto nyo parenta, rentahon namon, kami mapaubra, kag kamo, priority kamo, nga kwao namon, nga empleyado sa gobyerno, may ara sila sweldo, 15-30, may bonuses pa kung maayo.
I'll go over that one by
Yes,
one,
yes.
Attorney. No? Pero ang imo nga experience, in case you have forgotten Attorney J.V. Hinlo, by the way, he first rose to prominence aside from being a supporter of President Duterte during the 2016 elections. Prior to that, he was one of the lawyers of the principal accused sa Salabas kidnapping with murder case, kung hindi ko magsala, no? Kay Mr. Manolo Escalante.
You
were a young lawyer then.
I was a young lawyer. I was with the law office of Treyes, Ernesto Treyes, no, Jr. So, I was able to handle big and sensational cases here.
And that was a big case.
Big case, no. You know, my life is very colorful, no. Yun, looking back, no. We're getting old already, Julius. We're getting old. That's why, looking back at life, nasiling ko, daw ang dokadasig isang panahon. I'll be turning 50s this year, no?
Do san ulang nga kahubig.
Yeah.
Gakit anayta.
Yes. Siling ko, trying to be philosophical about life, maagi lang tadi sa kalibutan, with the knowledge that we acquire, with the good intention that, let's say, we have, kung itago lang na naton, kag hindi takabulig sa pumuluyo, ang problema matinir, kag madula lang ta sa kalibutan, wala may matabo sang aton nga mga knowledge and our good intentions. So, with that in mind, I have realize and believe that we have to share what we know, nga maghimo ka sang isa ka butang, hindi lang para sa imo kaayuhan, kundi maghimo ka sang butang nga makamaayo sa sosyudad. Now, this particular proposal, what will I get from this? Nothing personal. No?
Although as a Hindu, you come from a landed family.
Very small, because hati-hati na. Nothing. But the idea, if it becomes a government policy, will really reform the agriculture sector. Just imagine if government implements this and hires so many workers. Damo nga mga wala obra subong, makaobra na sa gobyerno, nga mga farmers, no? Maging pareho sila sang aton mga kapulisan, aton military, aton mga teachers, aton mga government workers, may retirement pay pa sila.
Okay, Delegate. Before I go to that, ang employment, ang una nga pamangkot, always pati sa duta, sino ang manag-iya sina? I-differentiate, tasubong nga panahon ang tag-iya, syempre, we call them haciendados. Diri sa Negros Occidental, ang may tubo. Sa imo nga proposal, anong matabo?
Well, they remain as owners if they want to remain as owners. There are different lands. May ara kita government lands, no? Government titled lands. May ara man local government titled lands. May ara man, let's say, private persons titled lands.
Pwede
may
na
ara man
private.
corporation titled lands. Now, ang mga agrarian beneficiaries, CLOA holders, that was given to them, no? Although ginabayaran pa na nila sa land bank. those who own their lands, hindi piliton sang gobyerno na kwaon. If they want to work on their lands, kung gusto nila obrahon, let them be. And in fact, the traditional support system of government should continue. Government, through land bank, for example, should continue to provide low-interest loans for the agri-sector. Pero, kung may ibandira nga small planter or even big planter, magasiling siya nga daw wala siya swerte sa pananom, gusto na lang siya nga mag-empleyo sa gobyerno, he can offer his land to rent out to government. He remains the owner. Ang private owner, ang CLOA holder, remains as the owner of the land, then iparentahan niya sa gobyerno for government to manage. And,
excuse. I-quantabit tag-iya ka asyendang example ta. Kay katuam taman kay ron niya ang CLOA holder. Tag-iya ko bi ka asyenda. Mabutang ta may 20 hektaryas ko.
may option siya. He wants to continue, nga siya mag-obra sang iaduta. Hindi siya pakialaman sang gobyerno. Ang ginahimo iya subong, i-continue ya lang. Pero kung gusto ya nga takan siya, kay gusto ya nga magtinir lang sa balaya, kag makwa renta, pwede yaman iparenta sa gobyerno ang 20 hektaryas niya.
Parkilahan niya.
Parkilahan niya. Ang paris man bala ginahimo sang mga dalagko di nga mga asinderos nga gapang arkila sang gagmay nga mga kadutaan.
Bali ang guwa sa gobyerno, arendador.
Arendador ang gobyerno. But the difference between government as an employer and the private sector as an employer, mas taas magsweldo ang gobyerno. Kag may ara pa stability with the benefits. But syempre, kung gaobra ka sa gobyerno, you also have to play within the rules of government. Even though nga ikaw ga pa nag-iyas ang duta, kung let's say nagsugot ka nga mag-ubra sa gobyerno, ang farm produce, ang production, hindi na naimo. Iya na sang gobyerno. Maski ara ka pa gaobra, maski ang balay mo ara pa sa duta mo. Ang i-harvest nga pananom, iya na sang gobyerno. Kung kawaton mo na, pwede ka makasuhan for graft and corruption, pwede ka makasuhan for theft.
Bali ang guaya, ako abe ikaw tag-iya ka sang duta, 20 hektaryas. Pwede nga kung hindi na ko gusto nga ako ang mabayad para sa kultibo, abunot, paani, tanan, paarkilahan ko sa gobyerno. Classic nga ariendo.
Classic nga ariendo.
Ang gasto,
gobyerno.
Gobyerno. Siyempre, ang ani, iya ka gobyerno.
Ang ani, iya sa gobyerno, ang kwaon na lang sang tag-iya, renta, arkila lang.
Pero wala ka na risgo.
Wala ka na risgo. May kwaon ka every month na arkila, or may option gani sa proposal naton, may option nga pwede siya ka ubra sa gobyerno.
Paano?
If he wants to, kuwan siya, farm worker. Pero but it might not apply to the big-time farmers. It will apply more sa mga small landholders na carp na, or let's say 5 ka hektarya, gusto na siya mag-ubra, kay lang tawa bala ang mga gaubra sa gobyerno. They have peace of mind sa ilang ubra. Maski may pandemic, kabalo kita, ang sweldo nila aragid. Unless nga mag-abusar sila sa ila obra, kay pwede man sila mapahalin. No? Sa ini nga proposal, disenyo man naton nga hindi kakilandan na civil service eligible to qualify as farm workers. No? Except siguro kung supervisory position and managerial position, it might be required. But for basic farm workers, no need for civil service examination. That is part of our proposal. Ang intensyon naton, Jules, we produce many jobs. Para it will also lessen the dole-outs nga ginagastuhan man sang gobyerno. Instead na maghatag ka 2,000, 3,000 tada bulan, tagaan mo sila ubra. Makasweldo sila 10,000, 15,000, or mas dako pa, no? Depende. Istudyohan pa na kung mapadayon ini kung ano ang fair nga sweldo kung mag-obra sila sa gobyerno.
Wait, ang gwa sini, ang gobyerno will become a jobs generator.
That is correct.
Arkila sa duta para nga makahatag sa obra sa kauban.
That is correct. Another beauty of that, Jules, is once government does that, it will be able to farm big lands. So, once dagko na nga kadutaan, maka-modernize ng government, no? Better harvest facilities, may mga traktora na, may distribution system kasi it will be very big, no? Government can afford to do that. And there will be food stability, food production stability because wala na problema sa capitalization, no? At the same time, kabaluman siya mag-planning kung masiling siya sa ini nga lugar sugar, sa ini nga lugar rice, sa ini nga lugar vegetable, maka-planning because it will be big-scale farming already. So, it will help in our food security. Another thing, it will also stabilize the price. Kasi kung private ang gapadlagan, ang intensyon sang private sector is profit. The number one intention, nagnegosyo para profit. If it's government can temper or can reduce its profit para ang presyo sang mga baligya nga pagkaon hindi masyado mataas. So for example, kung ang profit sang private sector is 100%, base ang gobyerno masiling 10% lang ang aton para nubo ang presyo sang pagbaligya. So that's the beauty of it. We are able to create jobs. We will be able to provide food security. Government without price control can lower its profit in order to lower or influence the prices of the farm produce, no? There will be better distribution system. There will be a better benefits for the retired employees.
And do we have working models na elsewhere?
Well,
aside sa Pilipinas?
This is created for the Philippines, but similar to this. If we look at it similar to this, countries that have implemented social agriculture, di ba? We have China, Vietnam, countries where government involves themselves. They have better food production than us. They have happier farmers than us. So, in this case, when I let's say formulated the formula, I was looking at it at the Philippine application, no? What the country needs. So, employment. So, it's not about profit. It's not about nga mapagwapo-gwapo gid ta sang farm, mapagwapo-gwapo gid ta sang production. Ang aton sini is paano ta kabulig sa madamo na pigado nga gatambay lang, gapangayo ayuda, gahulat sang 4-piece, ga-expectar sa gobyerno nga sang bulig, ga-rebelde, tagaan ta sila obra.
Kamusta ang status, Subong? It's a bill, di ba? Pero do we have champions?
To be honest, Jules, no, the process is very slow. But it is, but we have supporters also within government, no. In fact, Secretary William Dar has privately told me, no, that he supports the idea. But that alone does not automatically mean that it will be implemented. So I think the Department of Agriculture is having this studied. The Secretary of Agrarian Reform has also discussed this with me. He has a different concept. he might want to unite his concept with this particular concept, but there are still differences, no? So it might require future meetings. But again, this is a new idea, not yet tested in the Philippines. The concept, per my belief, and the belief of those who support this idea, the concept is very good, no? Because you can never go wrong. Hindi ka gid magsala, Jules, nga mahatag ka ubra sa iba na tawo mo. Teach them how to fish, no? Rather than mangayo lang na mangayo. So, I gave a copy to the office of the President to be studied by the President. I'm doing my best para maiduso ang ining advokasya. But again, it needs people like you, nga at least, naimbita mo ko dire, to talk about this para mastoryahan. Makumparar ang ining proposal sa aton subong nga agriculture setup, no? Are we happy with what we have now? Or do we really need to reform it with a different concept? And this is one proposal that should be considered.
But you have projections already, may mga studies na. Example, if we have X amount of lands nga manage ka gobyerno, ano ang iya effect sa food production?
There is no study. As what I said, this is entirely new. The concept is, why don't we make government and its subsidiaries, and to include the GOCCs, the NCIP, no? To cover, let's say, ancestral lands, why don't we allow them to run farms in order to empower the people to have work? So, it's when I place this on the table for discussion, for consideration, I started the ball rolling. Now it depends. Let's say if NEDA, if the other government offices would really consider this, they can do the study. But as what I can say, hindi kita magsala kung maghimo kita sang programa nga makahatag obra. Subong gani gagastong gobyerno panghatag nga wala return. Hatag lang kwarta, 4 piece monthly panghatag. Ang iniya, hindi ka manghatag, obra ka, pananom ka, o mag-driver ka sa truck nga related sa agriculture. Because this does not concern only farming, but the entire agriculture value chain. From planting, from cultivation, from harvesting, up to distribution, up to selling. LGU, Bacolod City, can it do this? We can have urban agriculture, no? We can build greenhouse. There can be a distribution system, or Bacolod could decide to put up markets, farm markets, and do it as a business. Employ more employees, kung gusto niya, casual, contractual, regular, and make it as a part of state-managed farming. Why? Because the distribution and the selling part is still within the concept of state-managed farming.
All right. So it's from planting to harvesting to cultivation to selling.
To selling.
So integrated siya.
Integrated. Just imagine with those process, kung pila ka obra ang mahimo all over the Philippines. Especially now nga we have a problem with our OFWs. Hindi kadali mag-obra sa abroad because of the COVID crisis. Wala alternative. Pasalamat nga may ara subong sang mga Food Panda, Grab, amo na lang ng ilaobra, online business. But kadako sang potential sa agriculture And it should not be limited. Ito yun, Jules, it should not be limited to a few. Kasi kung controlled only by a few people, sila lang mabusog. When you say distribution, we are not distributing land. It should stop kasi it did not work. What should be distributed is economic opportunities through employment. Give them work.
Indeed.
Give them work. Oh.
All right. Attorney J.V. Hinlo, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you also, Jules, for the invitation and for pagatag mo oportunidad na makahambal sang state-managed farming diri sa imo programa.
We have had Attorney J.V. Hinlo, the proponent of state-managed farming. With Banjo Inoran, this has been Julius Maraveres for DNX Conversations. Thank you.